Come link with me under the iroko tree. Make we reason through every season, speaking the truth for the youth. Maintaining the spiritual rules, maintaining the spiritual rules, maintaining the spiritual rules.
That breath of fresh air that we take for granted, coming by way of the Creator and through our ancestors, doing what they did for us to be here. How wonderful it is to recognize, acknowledge, and accept our oneness with nature. And when we add honesty to that, we can feel the root, the spiritual energy taking root within the self, and the vibration begins to rise. So when we allow ourselves to tap into that side of ourselves, we begin to think different, we begin to see different, we begin to hear different, we begin to do different and be different positively. Why are we not allowing ourselves to give that to ourselves? Blessed love African family, blessed love world family, Hotep, Anko, Jah, Seneb, more peace, more life, more prosperity, best of health. Welcome to irokoReasoning, Spiritual Roots. So this is a space where hope we can come in and reason, have conversations, and speak truth respectfully to somehow lift the vibration within each other, to inspire better thinking, inspire better actions. So higher thinking for better actions, tapping into the process of learning to unlearn to learn, rethinking the narratives, reclaiming the positives, mining the mind's mind, so to speak, so we can dig up those gems to bring more quality to our way of living. So it's about challenging ourselves to be more honest with ourselves, asking ourselves the honest questions, be brave enough and courageous enough to answer those questions honestly within ourselves. To look at the things we're doing. Do we need to be doing the things we're doing? Or are we just doing just because? So I want to subscribe, come in, let's have the conversations, and we have to share, make this spread as far and as wide as possible. And come in, let's have the conversation, come in and comment. Because I can only say so much of the truth on one particular thing when there are so many other truths. So you coming in and commenting will help to make the conversation even more powerful, the reasoning more powerful. And they told us to be afraid of the sun, our greatest power source, energy source. It's what's in our food, in our water. So we're glad to be out here feeding off that energy, you know. And I know you might recognize I'm the one speaking, but I keep saying we, because I recognize we're a collective. We are not individuals really. We're feeding off each other's energy. So we are learning from each other. We are influencing each other. So the we I reference is putting myself amongst those that are also positive out there. So I want enough love and respect to two lovely queens, Janet and Nadine, for helping out with the name irokoReasoning, Spiritual Roots. So iroko is an African tree. When we do the research, we realize it's a tree where them say can survive up to 500 years, and also said to contain the spirit and knowledge of the ancestors. So we did find a connection with that. So Africa being the mother, well, we know how we got carried to the Caribbean through slavery trade. So that's how most of us, or let's say some of us, ended up on this side of the world. So Africa being the root. So iroko, tree, and reasoning, that's the way we as Jamaicans say, we talk about stuff. So we're connecting the root with, let's say, we, the body of the tree, ancestor, the root, we, the body of the tree, and yes, so now our picnic them, our children, let's say, can be branches, their children, the stems and fruits and leaves. But we recognize that we are coming so far away from that spiritual root. We're also giving less of it to our children. And we need to recognize that all that we're doing should be for them, just like how our ancestors did for us. to take off those physical chains so we could come to live without them. We now need to be taking off these mental chains, trying to come out of this mental trap, so we can now show them to be living more freely than we are. As I said, just like how our ancestors did for us, because they didn't want us to be living like that. So we shouldn't want our children to be living like how we are living, within these mental traps, within these mental chains. So within the space, whatever we talk about, we want to bring them back or reconnect them with spirituality, because we want to know spirituality is a way of life, the way we think about the things we're doing, the way we do the things we're doing. Are we bringing joy and hurt and pain? Are we bringing happiness? And that is spirituality, being honest with self, being honest with each other, and making that a way of life. So that's what we need to be passing on to our children. So spirituality is not something we go asleep or daydream about that's up in the sky or under the ground. It's just a way of life, the way we live with each other. So within the space we want to look on ourselves, black people, Jamaicans, Jamaica, African family. What the bongo push the grass cat are we doing? What are we busy doing? So we want to be asking ourselves these questions. Why are we eating the things we're eating? Why are we dressing the way we're dressing? Why are we behaving the way we're behaving? Why are we not checking in within ourselves, within our spiritual selves? Why are we not thinking for ourselves? Why are we just following? There's a reason within these social media spaces there is following and likes. So if we're following, it means something or someone is leading us somewhere. Where is that? We are being led away from ourselves. Do we not recognize that apart from killing ourselves physically, we are killing ourselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, culturally? And that is the same thing we are doing for our children. Are we not recognizing this? So, yes, we love them, but are we loving them at the level we're supposed to be? It can't just be about food, clothes, and shelter, and institutionalized education and religion. It has to be a bit more than that, from a spiritual place. What are the values that we are giving them to build their foundations on? We should be living the way we want them to learn to live from us. Because it's not what we tell them that they're going to take, it's what they see us doing, they're going to become. When we look in the mirror, are we not seeing that we need to be holding on to our natural, beautiful black selves? Why are we representing ourselves as something or someone else when we have these, let's say, important functions to go to, and events, weddings, funerals, parties, our birthdays we are celebrating looking like something that's not us? What is telling us that we are not naturally beautiful, and that's how we should go out and represent ourselves? We see our natural, beautiful selves as just something to be in the house, but when we're stepping out, we can't find ourselves going out looking naturally beautiful as we are. Are we asking ourselves these questions? Why are we eating the things we are eating? Are we researching on the things we are eating? We're putting our monies in other people's hands and keeping ourselves poor. We are finding ourselves wanting to look so-called good based on society's standards, but not finding ourselves wanting to be good from within ourselves. So we would rather to look good than to actually be good. Are we asking ourselves these questions? Again, the things we are doing are the things we are teaching our children to do and to be and to become. Why are we not researching our history to know where we are coming from? And I mean before slavery. We are the ones that build the pyramids that no one can replicate up until this day. astrology, mathematician, civilization as we know it. Why are we not researching that? Why are we not researching on the food we are eating? Food is basically poison or drugs. Why are we not saving our money and maintaining our beautiful identity so we can put our money into ourselves, buying lands, building farms, coming together, putting our monies together, building houses for ourselves. So we will sit on our devices, researching YouTube, wherever else on the internet for the ways to apply all these false things to ourselves. But we would not spend the time to research on how these things are affecting us negatively. Why are we as real people accepting false things more than our real selves? And we will spend the time and money to take care of these false things and not spend that time on our natural selves. Are we asking ourselves these questions? Why are we still not holding politicians accountable, religious ministers accountable for the things they're doing? Why are we not holding ourselves accountable for the things we are doing? What are we busy doing? Why are we not tapping into our spiritual selves? So while we might not have the tree physically to come and sit by and reason, we can do it from a mental space within this virtual place. Worse, like how they're telling us now to be staying away from each other. So within this space, I want us to reconnect with spirituality and not see spirituality as a place and a time that we go to when we are in trouble, but just to make it a way of life. And that's all spirituality is, within my observation. Just the way we treat each other from the positive side of things. So it's not so much about looking for that perfect right or wrong. It's about helping each other to be better, because we have the potential to be able to do better and become better for our children. That's the example we need to be for them. So we're not looking to beat down or bash or to force anyone into anything really. It's just about coming together and finding a better way to move forward. Because we know none of us is perfect. But if we come together, we can find better ways to do the things we're doing. Again, for our children. So if we're not doing our best to turn the table within this time to a more positive side of things, then we can begin to see, based on what we are doing on the negative side, our children would possibly be multiplying that by 3 or 4 times. Is that what we want for them? So we need to stop and slow down for a second. Look at what we are doing. Why are we working so hard to spend our money against ourselves and not for ourselves? Not so long ago, a few years ago, when we had a piece of clothes, if it got torn, it was now used to rub the floor or thrown in the garbage. Now we are working so hard to fill our closets with tear-up clothes, or wardrobe with tear-up clothes. Are we looking at what we're doing? Are we thinking for ourselves? We are not followers. Somebody told us that. They told us we were black and ugly. We started to repeat it around each other, so we believed it. Our actions are confirming that. And this is not about hate for anyone else, but it's about love for us, from us, by us. We need to redefine self-love. Self-love should be researching what we are eating, knowing that what we're putting into our temples should be of the best of health. Researching the things we're applying to our skins, knowing that we're not putting toxins in ourselves, knowing that our skin is one of the largest organs, knowing that we don't only consume by way of eating, we are consuming by smelling. What are we listening to? What are we looking at? What are we applying to our skins? Are we researching these things? Are we even asking ourselves these questions? Or it's best not to ask these things because we just want to be following what's happening by way of society's persuasion. Do we understand that celebrities are being paid to show us the things they're showing us? So they are being paid to persuade us to give our money back to those people who are leading us away from ourselves. So we are left without our identity, we are left without our money that we work hard for. And we find ourselves in the same place, teaching our children to remain in the same place. Are we recognizing this? So these are the things we want to come together under the Iroko tree within this mental space and this virtual place to talk about love, sex, relationship, marriage, religion, education, politics, all the things that governs our lives on a day-to-day basis. So our ancestors were taken and beaten and whipped and killed. Some gave their lives. But the things we are doing now, we are doing them willingly. No fight. Not even within ourselves. And that's the same thing we are teaching our children. How much of us know about the Willie Lynch letter or the Willie Lynch method? And if we were to read that letter, we would recognize that's still in us, and that's why we're doing half the things we're doing. We need to spend more time taking off the mental change, taking ourselves out of the mental traps. So within this space, we hope to store some positive seeds that can blossom into and bloom into beautiful meadows and valleys and hillsides, and pass that on to our children. Are we recognizing that some of our children might grow up not knowing what a naturally beautiful black person looks like within our space? Some of us are possibly in a relationship for 6 couple months and don't know what our partners look like within their natural state. Why are we not planting and reaping rather than spending and consuming? So we spend our monies on the things that we put on ourselves and the things we put in ourselves to end up being sick, to be going to the doctors and the pharmacies, to be maintaining their lives, just to keep ourselves in the same place and teaching our children to do the same thing. So I know some of the things that will be said, some of us might not want to hear them or confront them or deal with them, but we need to. Even if we don't want to do it for ourselves, we should want to do it for the children that we say we love. So a lot of us are filled with ego and don't want to confront certain things even within ourselves and learn to take constructive criticism. It's about building each other. It's about being better together. Again, passing those things on to our children. This is not a bashing. This is not a putting down. This is calling us to lift ourselves up. So we ask for the subscription. That's going to get far and wide. We ask for help in sharing. So that's how all of us can become a part of the reasoning and comment, so we know what's going on, what's your side of the truth. And then we're going to put that all together and take the best ones and move forward. There's a term within the African space, Sankofa, which means we go back. So for us, that would mean going back to history and finding out the best quality things from that time, bring them forward. Take the best quality things of this time, put them all together and we move forward in that light. Why is it that we have so much tolerance for corruption and indiscipline and not discipline itself? Why are we not seeing ourselves as a part of nature? Why are we not connecting with nature and connecting with spirituality from that side of things? Come in, subscribe, share. Let's get into the reasoning. Let's talk about these things. Let's be honest with ourselves. So that's where the change will begin to take root and begin to grow and begin to blossom. And that's the change we want to give to our children. That's the change we should want to give to our children. So hopefully within this space we can influence the house, and the house can influence the community, and the community influence the nation. And we would love to see that ripple effect out to the world. So that's the aim and the intention, the thinking behind trying to do this. Trying to lift each other the best way possible. One helping the other. There's no separation. We need to stop looking through the lens of others to look on ourselves and start looking with our eyes on ourselves and pass those things on to our children. So that's a blessed love. Give thanks. Hotep, Anku Jaseneb. More peace, more life, more prosperity, more health. Give thanks. Come with me now. Like we reason under the iroko tree. Get back to, reconnect to the spiritual roots. Come with me.
Come link with me under the iroko tree. Make we reason through every season. Speaking the truth for the youth. Maintaining the spiritual rules. Maintaining the spiritual rules. Maintaining the spiritual rules.